Right, we're gonna get rolling this morning. Welcome and namaste. Glad you're here. I don't think I'm going to use music today. I've gotten used to not playing music. There's some days where it's a challenge to practice without music because there's something just nice about music kind of being in the background. It kind of creates an atmosphere and a tone, but I also think there's a lot of importance in silence. So I don't know about you, but this full moon has been, well, Gina and I were talking about this, like, we've kind of been in a funk, like, I don't know, leading up to it, we're usually like moon goddesses. We love it, you know, and it's like, bring it on, you know, but neither one of us have been feeling it with this one. In fact, once the full moon hit, I'm enamored with it at night when I'm sitting on my deck. But through the days, I haven't been feeling that great. I've been getting triggered by certain images or certain conversations, and I've been shoving it down because it's not I'm shoving it down to suppress it. I'm shoving it down to try to transmute it because I know it's my stuff. It's not anyone else around me that's doing anything wrong. I can bear witness to what is triggering me and what I'm feeling about it, and I know it's my stuff. So I'm trying to work through that. And that's what yoga meditation helps us to do. Yoga meditation helps to heighten our awareness. And part of the heightening of awareness is to notice how emotions fuel more thoughts. And I listen to this, I'm gonna get a little woo-woo with you guys. You can take it or leave it, but I've been listening to a lot of people this year who are very intuitive and tapped in, who channel the energy or who channel entities. And I was listening to someone who was channeling Archangel Michael, and it was fascinating to me. I was listening to it on the way here, and Archangel Michael's message was to say, pay attention to your emotions, because your emotions are going to drive more of your mind, and make sure that it's driving you the way you want to go. Because think about it, and we talk about this in yoga all the time, we're not in control of what's happening externally, but we are in control of our own thoughts, words, and actions. But if you really study quantum physics, they will say what you're thinking, you're creating. What you're thinking, you're manifesting. And that was kind of what Archangel Michael was saying in this channeling. He was saying, caution with your emotions because it's going to drive more thoughts, and your thoughts are going to create your reality. But it went deeper, and it was talking about chakras. And it was saying you have these energy centers and you're working with your chakra system, and all the emotion and the thoughts that are being driven up to the crown of the head, that is going to determine what timeline we're choosing. Okay, and that kind of blew my mind a little bit because I understand time is not necessarily linear, you know. If you study quantum physics, they say there's multiple timelines, there's multiple universes. And even science says that our cells are blinking, appearing and disappearing constantly. And they don't know what happens when it disappears. Where do you go? And a lot of people who are psychic and tuned in will say, yeah, you're living multiple lives right now. And your present is not separate from your past. Your past life is being lived with your present life, and your future life is also being lived at the same time. And there's multiple different timelines. And the idea behind that is that we all have that God particle inside, and we all have that piece of divine intelligence that's working through each of us in our own unique way to experience everything. The good and the bad and the ugly, all of it. But we're also the co-creators. So what timeline are we choosing? So that blew my mind this morning, and I'm hoping this is something that you need to hear too, Gina, since we just talked about it. But now I'm determined after these classes, I was happy I was coming to yoga and getting it ×2, because now today is about working on just getting in a more elevated place, getting in a higher vibration than what I feel like I'm in right now. And that's my intention behind this practice, because this particular practice is something that I did yesterday at Unity. And a couple weeks ago, we worked with piriformis. I believe it was last week, we worked with back bends. Today, we're going to be working with twist. And I thought the twist would be good because, you know, some people say the emotional seat is the heart. Some people say the emotional seat is in the sacral area. But the emotional body is more in the solar plexus. And I thought with twist, what we can work on is, you know, just wringing ourselves out. In fact, when I thought about doing twist for this lesson plan, we were walking around the neighborhood as a family Saturday night, and I was like, Rob, what do you think about twist? And he was like, I don't know, quit asking me, because I've been asking me. He's been coming to class on Sundays. He's like, quit asking me, just do what you want to do. And I'm like, but you're my special student in that class, and I want to give you what you need. Like, what do you need right now? And he was like, I don't know, just do what you want. But I was feeling twist. And so yesterday morning, when I woke up, and I woke up super early to get the lesson plan done, I woke up at like 6 a.m. and I woke up, and literally my first thought was, I got to get up and create a lesson plan. Should I stick with twist today? And the song that downloaded in that moment was a gospel hymn. Ring it out, ring it out. There's a message, ring it out. You know that one? It's like a fast tempo gospel hymn, and you've got the men singing one part and the women singing another part, and it's a beautiful song. And so as soon as I got up, I started going to YouTube. I'm like, I need to hear the song, and I listened to like 3 different renditions of it. And I was like, there's my message. That's my message from Spirit. Even though that song is R-I-N-G, it still came into my mind at the moment I questioned it. And I could see that was my sign that, yes, do twist, because ring, W-R-I-N-G, is what we're doing in twist. We're wringing things out. We're wringing out anxiety. We're wringing out fear. We're wringing out tension, tightness, stress, worry, concern, emotions. So we're going to wring it out today. That's our theme. And I want you to start off on your back. Just tucking your knees in towards your chest, but not overly squeezing. Just a light hold of your legs. And I want this light hold because if you pull the knees in too much, it's actually going to shorten the back instead of elongate the back. And it's important when we're doing twist that we first create length in the spine before we take the actual twist. And that's what we're doing here with this light tuck, Apanasana. Feel free to relax your feet. Close your eyes to make sure your sacrum feels anchored down. And then we're going to open the arms nice and wide and roll the knees off to the left side. And once you roll the knees off to the left side, check in because you may have to lower the legs down, right? If that's too much for your low back. You may also want to check in to see if you have a large separation or gap between the knees. If you provide a prop in between the two, then it may feel more supported. Try to keep your right shoulder nestled down, your palms spun open. And only if the right shoulder touches the floor should you turn your head to the right shoulder. Otherwise, you can keep it just neutral, or you can turn it to your left. Go ahead and close your eyes. Once you close your eyes and you're lounging in this twist, we're going to open up the breath. Breathing in and out through the nose in a deep diaphragmatic way. And so in this twist where you're feeling the breath kind of moving up to your right side, I want you to be aware that these obliques are both inner and outer. The intercostals that we have moving up into the ribs are both inner and outer. And the twist is helping to wring those out as well. And there's muscles that attach to the spine that often get tight and tense. And so the twisting element in these postures help to stretch out those muscles. When we lengthen the back first and then take the twist, we're providing space between each vertebra, allowing more room for the nerve roots, and allowing more circulation to enter into those spongy discs. It's wringing out the glands, the abdominal organs, clearing away toxins, bringing in fresh circulation that provides nutrients. Now go ahead and inhale, draw the knees to center. Exhale, let your knees roll off to the right. And you may or may not need a prop in between the knees at this point. Check in to see if your left shoulder lands to the floor. That will determine how or if you turn your head. So while you're resting here, be considerate of each side being unique. I've had an SI joint issue this past year. And so my twist on this side is much more limited and much more sensitive than the other side. And I've been having to prop more. In the low back, in the lumbar area, there's more fusion in the spine, so we have less mobility. In the mid-thoracic region of the spine, we have typically more mobility. And generally speaking, the neck is where we have our largest range of motion. However, right, to each their own, according to your body's anatomy, injury, or experience. So while you're here on this side, I'm going to give you just a little quiet time to be in the question of what has been showing up, what has been illuminated with this full moon. Have you noticed certain triggers? Have you noticed certain thought patterns? Have you noticed certain emotions? Have you noticed anything being projected from the past to the present? And don't be contemplative in a way that's going to stir up emotion or more thoughts, just being aware, being accountable. And then if you happen to have something like that, set your intention to use this practice to wring it out. Affirming as you hold this position, new life, new energy is flooding and flowing through my being. So on your next inhale, let's draw the knees back to center. Immediately roll to your left side body, but this time go ahead and bring the right hand over to stack on the left. You're gazing towards the hands, Hasta Drishti, and you're going to maintain Hasta Drishti if you can. So meaning, inhale, start to lift your right hand up towards the sky and flow it all the way across to the right. And then as you exhale, re-lift the arm and stack the palms. Now doing a bit of yoga flow. Inhale, you're fanning open into the twist. And as you exhale, you're returning back to that side fetal position. Let's do 3 more. Remember, Vata yoga is more about function over form. This time when you lay out into the twist, you're just going to go ahead and roll the knees over to the right. And then pick up that left hand and go ahead and circle it over to rest left hand to right. And same flow. Inhale, you're gonna re-lift your left arm, turning your gaze with it as you open into the twist. And as you exhale, lift the arm and then close the twist. And then continue to move in sync with your breath. So the pace of your breath determines the pace of your practice. The length of your breath determines if you're moving fast or slow. Do 3 more on this side. Well, the next time you close out the twist and you're rolling to the right, you're going to press down through the left hand and you're going to safely come up. When you start to come up, we are actually going to get up to stand at this point. So we're going to come up to stand at the top of the mat. I do suggest, hopefully you saw the props, definitely recommend 2 blocks for this, especially if you're limited in your hamstrings or IT band. So you're going to stand at the top of the mat. You're going to root around your feet, placing your hands to Namaste at the heart. And as you inhale, lift your arms up to Urdhva Hastasana. And as you exhale, you're going to twist open to your right. Inhale, center. And then exhale, twist left, separating the arms. Good. Inhale to the top. Exhale to the right. Good. Inhale, face the front. Exhale, rotate left. Okay, simple and gentle. Inhale up. Exhale, rotate right. Inhale, center. Exhale, take it to the left. Inhale, relift. And exhale, swan dive forward and down to your Uttanasana, your standing forward fold. Now, when you come down into a standing forward fold, feel free to softly bend your knees if that feels better for your body. Otherwise, you can create as much structure and alignment that you want to make it more young, more active. So yogi's choice. And then start to bend your left knee, but keep your heel lightly on your mat. Close in towards your thighs. Let your head hang and loosen your neck. And then just take a moment to remember, even though we're winding ourselves into the twist, the point of the twist is to untie any physical or psychological or emotional knots. Now, since how we're warming up the hamstrings and the IT band on the right leg, we're going to inhale, come halfway up, and walk the hands out in front of the feet. And your choice whether you use blocks or not. Your hands can be stationed on the floor, but we're going to spin it open to the right. Now remember, the reason why we walked the hands out in front was to get length in the spine before the twist. The left knee stays bent and the right leg stays long. Good. Exhale, bring the right hand down, straighten both legs, release the hands from the blocks or close back in towards your feet. Now softly bend your right knee. Stay in the forward fold, receive the stretch first. And then we'll start to maneuver more into the twist. So remember, on the twist, we can't be here or hands directly in front of the toes. We have to create some space, some length through the back. And that requires walking the hands in front. Good. And now spin open to your left arm reaching towards the heavens. Tailbone reaching towards the back wall, crown of the head reaching towards the front wall. On your next out breath, bring the left hand down. You can straighten both legs. You can fold back into your Uttanasana. Affirming here, nothing and no one on this earth can hold me down or back. Inhale, coming halfway up. Exhale, flow back down. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, swan dive back in. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, tip forward. Inhale all the way up. Urdhva and exhale, flow right back down to Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha. Exhale, release. All right, now bend your left knee again. Keep your right leg long. And even though we just opened up the hamstrings a bit more, notice there's still some pretty strong sensation. If you're not feeling the sensation, gravitate the heart lower towards your knees or shins. Get your upper body weight heavier and close in more towards the lower body. But on your next inhale, we're going to provide that extra space, walking the hands in front of the toes or stacking them onto blocks. Keeping the left knee bent, right leg long, open up into your spinal rotation. Right arm reaching skyward. So notice the splaying of the arms, comes up a lot in the twist. And that's because of that mid-thoracic area. Arms attaching to this part of the body where we have a little bit more flexibility. Exhale, bring the right hand down, straighten both legs, release your hands towards the feet, fold back in. Now bend your right knee. So notice when you bend the right knee, the right foot's very light to the touch on your sticky mat. But as you straighten out your left leg, you're going to find that foot's a little heavier. Right? The difference between yin and yang, you can experience it here. Inhale, create some space, walk the hands forward. When you're ready, rotate to the left. Think about what you need to wring out of your system. Exhale, bring the left hand down, close back in towards your feet, but you may want to bring the blocks back, kind of alongside your mat, because we're going to step the left foot back into a low lunge, and then we're going to sink the back knee to the floor and untuck the back toes. Now, this is where you may want to use blocks because we're going to be in the half lunge first. Just sink and melt the hips down towards the ground. Make sure the front knee stays aligned over the ankle. Then we're going to walk the blocks back to flip the right foot. We're resting on the heel, but jutting the toes in the air, straightening out that leg to half split. From the half split, you may want to lower your blocks to a different level, depending on how it feels for your back and hamstrings. Because we're going to keep the left hand on the block, but we're going to open to the right into a twist. Good. The exhale, the right hand comes down towards the block. And then we're going to inhale, sweep it right back up. Okay, another exhale, take the arm down. And then inhale, sweep it right back up. It's like a modified way to do your reverse triangle. We are going to go into the full reverse triangle. So bring the foot down to the floor. If you find that this pose is better for you today, then you can stay stacked on your knee. You can just hold this pose while we stand up, and then you can rock back in if you prefer that one. Otherwise, stack onto the taller edge of the blocks, curl the back toes, lift the back knee, straighten out through the front leg. When you get the right leg straight and the toes are pointed down towards the floor, make sure you have strong, stable blocks here and that they're aligned underneath your shoulders and that your heart is being drawn forward towards the top of the mat. Then when you're ready, you're gonna take the right arm and reach it up towards the sky. I'm choosing this variation for gentle today because this one's a little bit easier than the traditional form. I use the traditional one in blissful today. Good, exhale, take the right hand down. When you're ready, lunge the front knee again, offset and ground your back foot and come into pyramid pose, where you're straightening the right leg, but rotate your left hip forward towards the blocks. You may have to offset the back foot more because the back foot's more like warrior one position. And then from this angle, if you want a deeper stretch, you're welcome to fold over the front leg. Now, if you want to try that deeper, more traditional variation of revolving triangle, you have an opportunity here to relift and extend the vertebrae. I tend to walk the blocks slightly more forward for this version of the pose, and then open up into the twist. And some days I have to play with the height of the blocks to see what works best. So if the tall height's too much, maybe take it down a level. All right, exhale, bring the right hand down, re-lunge that front knee, wiggle the left toes back behind you, and then lower the back knee, shin, and foot. When you come up, you're pushing down through the right foot, and you're lifting the arms up to Anjaneyasana. And as you exhale, you're sinking the hips, bringing the palms together, and dropping low. All right, inhale, press through the right foot, build up, Anjaneyasana. And then exhale, hands to prayer, and sink back down. Good, one more. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, bringing it down. And then we're gonna add in a twist. Okay, so inhale, build up. Exhale, left hand to the right knee, right hand to the hip. Got it. Good. Yeah. Now this one's a little higher variation. We're pushing down to the feet. We're lifting up to the pelvic floor, navel. But you can also start to sink the hips, and you can take your hands to prayer and rotate this way. If you want a different variation. We'll take 3 deep breaths while we're here. All right, we're going to unwind from that twist. Bring the right knee back to join the left. Send the blocks off to the side and stack on hands and knees. So in tabletop position today, we did this from plank earlier, but since it's gentle, we're going to do it this way. So you can press down through your shins and ankles to get your belly more firm. So just imagine in plank, your belly would have to be firm. We're gonna take the weight into the right hand, lift the left hand, and tap the right shoulder. You're gonna place your left hand down, pick up the right, and tap your left. Now, if you wanna amp it up and do it from plank, you're welcome to. I'm gonna stay gentle for this class. Staying true to the name. So anytime we wait there, we're strengthening not only the muscles, but the bones. Good, now from tabletop position, shift your weight forward, shoulders go right past your wrist, and then exhale, take it back towards table. Okay, it's just a little sway forward and a little rocking back. Notice the distribution of weight throughout the hands. Now, the next time you start to shift your body weight forward, spill the hips down, but open up your heart. And as you exhale, roll it back over the toes to downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your heels high. Exhale, sink back to your knees. Untuck the toes, round and root your shins, pull up through your navel. Shoulder tapping, left hand to right shoulder. Lower the left hand, right hand to left shoulder. Try to keep your belly firm. And then a gentle rocking forward on the inhale. Sliding the hips and shoulder back on the exhale. Slight rocking forward on the in-breath. Rocking on the out-breath. This time when you rock forward, sink your hips, open the heart center, upward facing dog. And exhale, roll it back to downward facing dog. All right, we're gonna do one more of those flows. Inhale, fly the heels higher. Exhale, scroll down to knees. Create your firm tabletop position. And then left hand to right shoulder. Ground both hands, and then right hand to left shoulder. And then when you're ready, tipping forward on the inhale, rocking gently back on the exhale, strengthening the hands and the wrists. This was one of the areas, if you got a break from practice through the pandemic, it's like, whoa, you have to build that strength back up. So this is one way to do it. Okay, next time, drop into upward facing dog. Exhale, roll back, downward facing dog. Now holding downward facing dog, take a nice deep breath in. Let the breath go. And we're going to take the left foot forward this time. When you take that left foot forward, and you're lining up in this low lunge, make sure that knee aligns over the ankle first. Good, and then go ahead and spill the knee down, untuck the back toes, bring the blocks in. So we've got the half lunge. And then we're going to walk it back to half splits. Forward again to the half lunge. And back to the half Pranayasana. Now stay here with your toes jutting up, your heart driving forward. And then we're going to take that modification of revolving Trikonasana. And then we'll exhale, bring the hand down, and we'll wave it up and down a couple more times. Inhale, open up into the twist. Exhale, bring the arm down. Good, one more. Once you come out of the twist, we're gonna re-ground the left foot, lunge that knee, curl the back toes under, straighten the legs. Drop your hands onto the blocks if you need it, square your hips. And then from here, we're going to take this variation of revolving triangle pose. Exhale, bring the left hand down, offset your right foot, ground it down, come more to pyramid squaring the hips. Maybe folding over for a deeper stretch. And then affirming here, I give myself over into the flow of grace. Give myself over to the flow of grace. And if you want to try this traditional variation of revolve triangle, this is everyone's favorite pose, said no one ever. This is a challenging pose. Good, bring that hand down, lunge the front knee, wiggle the right toes back. And we'll go ahead and sink the back knee, chin foot for that Untitled Chapter sequence. So when you're ready with the half lunge, bury down the left foot, build up from here. You're building up through the pelvic floor, through the navel, through the heart, through the crown, and fingertips. And then exhale, sink low. We'll do that a couple more times before we rotate again. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, drop in. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, left hand to waist, right hand to left knee. You can choose to be here. Notice this is more work in the lower body. Or you can bring hands together, lean forward, and work more your twist and hips. So discerning what you prefer. And then exhale, unwind from that. Place the hands down, draw the left knee back. And we're going to separate the knees here. Bring the big toes together to touch. Your right arm's going to stretch out. Your left hand's going to flip and thread under the arm. And you have a choice here to either just rest the right arm before you or to wrap that right arm behind your back. So if you want the extra work in the shoulder, thread the right arm behind you. Either way, close your eyes. Surrender down towards gravity. Face plant down on your temple. And breathe. So there's an innumerable amount of twists that we could be potentially practicing today, but we're limited to an hour. This is one that you could linger in a little longer, since it has more of that yin quality to it. Control your breath. Watch it come and go. This is half shoelace. See if you can breathe into the backside of your lungs. We did a restorative and Reiki class yesterday, and I tried to give Reiki to each individual person, but we had 18 people. It literally took me the whole 2 hours to give everyone just a little bit, and this one particular lady was the last one. And I told everybody, I'm not gonna, touch you. I'm gonna stay at a safe distance. But the last woman I worked with was in a twist. And I kept wanting to touch her back. I kept wanting to place my hands on the back of her heart or shoulder blades. And I was sensing that she was healing from betrayal and a lack of support. And when I told her afterwards, she said that was exactly what she was dealing with. It was betrayal. And she actually had a thought when I was Reiking her that I was getting ready to touch her. That was pretty cool. It just shows that we're all a little telepathic and psychic. Now bring that right hand down and unwind the left arm. And because we've been in this pose for a little bit, I want you to draw the knees back together. Slide your arms forward. Take a quick downward facing dog just to stretch out your legs. Take that flexion out of the knees. Take a couple deep breaths before we go to the other side. Affirming here, calmness is beginning to radiate within and without. Now go ahead and sink the knees back down. Bring the big toes together. Separate your thighs again. Your left arm's going to stretch ahead. Your right hand will flip and thread underneath the left arm. And then you can determine if you want your left arm to just simply rest, or if you want to thread it around behind your back. Face plant down on your right temple. I suggest closing the eyes. And you can do it from tabletop if it's hard for your knees. So a modification would be in tabletop and doing thread the needle. Keep the hips up for the sake of the knees. Is that better? Okay. The nice thing about these yogic poses is we can always amp it up and make it a little bit more advanced. We can always take some things away or create a different shape to modify the positions. Same thing with our props. The props can deepen poses, but they can also help to make the poses more gentle, depending on their use. And go ahead and slip that left hand from behind your back if it was there. Unwind from that twist. Once you unwind from the twist, we are going to actually move our mats towards a wall. Short end to the wall. So those on the back row, you can just go straight back. And show you, just slide forward, and you guys can go to the side wall or come forward either way. So once you bring your mat forward, I want you to, I'm trying to look at the time. What do we have time? I wanted to do one more twist of the wall. Can we do it real quick? Is it okay if we go just a little over? Okay. Bring your blocks with you for this one. So in Blissful Flow, we ended with the one that looks like this. The revolving, way to do Ardha Chandrasana. We're going to do the same pose, but that one's not very gentle. We're going to do the more gentle way to do it with the wall. Or I feel like this one's more gentle anyway. And this is the one where you're actually, like for instance, I'm going to lift my right leg, so my right hip's to the wall, and you want to make sure that the blocks are lined up under. And this way you can use the wall for support. And don't feel like you have to be flush to the wall, because this is my SI joint side. I'm limited here. I'm not going to be able to go flush to the wall with my shoulder. So don't feel like you have to. Standing on your left leg, your right hip is touching the wall. And you're lifting that leg up. Your hands are locked up underneath your shoulders, stacked on blocks, but I want your head up and the sides of the neck long. That's it. Now, Debbie, if you spin your right hip down so your right toes turn down, there you go. That's better. And then Patty, you're doing the open half moon. Where should I be? So your other leg should be down. And then lift your right leg up. Right hip to the wall. So just look at Debbie in front of you. Do you see how she's doing it? Yes.
My other left.
Sorry, you guys have been in this a while. Sharon's like, get me out of this. Left arm lifts. You're rotating into the room. And it's not easy, but this is the easier version. All right, come on down. And then we'll turn to the other side. It's almost like tabletop standing on the blocks in your legs and feet. Left hip touching the wall. And then that left leg's gonna lift up. And you can go ahead and lean your left heel into the wall too, or the pinky toe side of the foot. And then you're gonna spiral open. Again, you're not trying to force that top arm to the wall. You're just rotating and using the wall for support. Good, exhale lower. Now you've earned your reward. That's a big twist, isn't it? It's very similar to, that revolving half moon is very similar to revolving trikonasana. Just like, for instance, triangle is a great segue into the regular half moon. The revolving variation of the twist will help you to get into the revolving formula of half moon, but it is more challenging. So your reward is legs up the wall, which is very medicinal for the full moon. You'll come into a fetal position on the side of your mat, curled up. And that way you can roll to your mat and lift the legs up. If you're at home and you don't have space with the wall, you can rest your legs on a chair or footstool, or you can just use a bolster and create a slide. The first thing I want you to do is look at your legs, line them up so they're parallel, push up through your ankles, splay open through your toes, and push up through the mound of the big toe. Feel that activation of your legs, and then soften your feet, soften your knees. Slide the shoulders away from your ears, make sure your spine feels pretty straight, and rest your hands on your abdomen. And I'm going to turn the lights off and let this be medicinal for you. Understand that. There's not. Okay. I'm going to bring them in for special occasions. Okay. So just be on the lookout for that. You know what? Why don't I create something here? And yeah, I was going to see if the bolster was back on top of the block. I don't know. Let's experiment. Okay. Okay, don't move. It's my fault. But if you hear something crash, it's just props. This point in the practice, no longer having to move your body, no longer having to wind or unwind. Hopefully we have run some things out though, with all these twists. We're going to focus on kind of flushing out the body with guided imagery for Shavasana. I want you to imagine that you're breathing in through the soles of the feet. And as you exhale, you're sending out and away any stress, tension, fatigue, or illness in this area. On your next breath in, I want you to imagine breathing in through each of your legs. And breathing out and away any and all stress, tension, fatigue, or illness from these areas of the body. Next breath in. Breathe in to the pelvic floor. To the pelvis, to the hips, to the buttocks. And imagine as you're breathing out any and all stress, tension, fatigue, or illness are departing from this area. Your next breath, invite it in to your belly, let it swell, let it maneuver up in the direction of the heart. As you surf it back down, imagine that the breath is carrying it out and away with it, any and all stress, tension, fatigue, or illness. Your next breath in, I want you to imagine breathing into your back. And as you exhale, slide your awareness down your back, imagining that blowing out the breath, any and all stress, tension, fatigue, or illness away. Next breath in, breathe in through your hands. Bring it up into your arms and shoulders. And as you exhale, visualize it's flowing back down and carrying with it any and all stress, tension, fatigue, or illness away. Next breath, bring it up into your throat, neck, face, mind. Visualize as you exhale any and all stress, tension, fatigue, or illness draining away. Steep in comfort and silence for the next few minutes. Carry the mindfulness now. Just breathe. But maybe breathe in a more productive way. More controlled way. And then once you open up your breath, you can slide the feet down the wall. You can roll to one side of your body. Acclimate there first, and then come up to sit. Feel free to sit with back support at the wall. Sit for a moment. Meditate together. Attempting to quiet the mind. Hopefully you feel purified. Since this practice, and twist especially, provides some purification and cleansing. Hopefully your mind feels more open and expansive. Hopefully your heart feels more open and full. Hopefully you feel a blend of both strength and softness in your body. Bringing your hands together to Anjali Mudra. We all walk away from this practice being free and at peace by anything out of our control, anything imposed upon us by another, or any internal concerns or stressors of our own. Om peace, peace, peace. Namaste. Took us just a little over.